So in the last class, we have gone through a few of the things like we have seen a dimension and a measure can be placed in rows, right? So any dimension, let's say if you can drag and drop a dimension into rows, or you can also drag and drop a dimension into column. Okay. So basically we have, you can swap actually. Okay. You can swap a dimension into rows or columns. So it's not mandatory to place any dimension into rows or columns, right? So even you can, let's say if you have measure into columns and dimension into row, I'm able to create a bar graph, right? Which is a horizontal bar graph. If you want to create a vertical bar graph, you can swap here. You can see swap rows into columns. So when you swap, initially it's subcategory in rows. When you swap, now subcategory in columns and measures in rows, the sum of sales in rows, because I want to showcase in a vertical bar graph, right? That's what we discussed. Like we can also type in, as I said, right? We can also type in and we can also include any dimension. Okay. And initially, yesterday was a very introduction, like the basic class. But in this, we don't prefer, but what is the advantage of this type in, right? Just double click, we have gone through, right? What is the advantage of double click? And even you can also create a calculation, right? Create a calculation, or right click on a white space, create a calculation field. But why I'm showing the calculation field in the sense, even you can also double click here in the rows. You can type in profit, click enter, divided by, you can type in sales, click enter. You can see profit divided by sales, click one more time, enter, right? So what is this calculation? This is like sum of profit divided by sales. Whenever you're going to drag and drop here into measures, right here, that will create a calculation field directly. Whatever you have done here, you can see Control Z, sorry, let's edit. So no worries about this. I'm just showing the advantage. You can see whatever the calculation we created on the fly here within the sheet, you can also recreate. You can save that calculation as the calculation field. You can just simply drag and drop into calculations here in the measures, right? And that will create a calculation. That's one more advantage. That's a flexibility we do have in Tableau. We don't recommend this. You don't worry about creation of calculations from here, but I'll tell you how it helps and where, in what situation we are going to create something like those calculations, not from typing, but I'll showcase a few more examples. That's very interesting. But interestingly, in the last class, we have gone through like marks card. Like as we know, we applied color condition, right? We used color condition to apply the color. You can also drag and drop measure value into color or any dimension into color. Even you can write a calculation field, correct? Even you can also write a calculation field. Clear? So we know the importance of color. You can also drag and drop sales into size to showcase the size of the bar. Let's swap here. You can swap. So higher the value, you can see the width of the bar, correct? So based on a value, you can see the width of the bar. Anyhow, height depends on the value, the axis. So, but you can also see the size. I'll tell you, like we have a lot of examples with color and size. Most of the like Tableau reports or dashboards or requirements, mostly, like yes, calculations are important, but when it comes like visualizations, color and size plays a major role. Okay, you understand, right? This is what we discussed. Labels, we also discussed about labels, the alignment. Let's say if you want to go for horizontal, or a vertical alignment, right? So you can go for vertical and horizontal alignment, it depends. But we are going to discuss about the detail section, which is somewhat important to understand, right? What actually the detail section. Okay. So let's go back to a new report. Let's try to understand this, why detail section is a bit important. It's not mandatory, but few cases it is very, very important to understand why should we go, why a detail section is important. Okay. So let's say I have region wise sales. Okay. And whenever you are going to drag and drop order date into columns, so what you're getting, what you're able to see here. So in rows we have region, in columns we have year. So I'm able to see proper region wise, year wise sales, correct? You understand, right? So I'm able to see proper year wise, region wise. So this is 2017 central data, correct? And this is 2018 central, and this is 2019 east. Got it? So we have proper rows and columns. We have proper data, which is segregated. But let me create one more sheet with the same functionality, region wise sales. Okay. And if I'm going to drag and drop order date into detail section, let's see what is going to happen, even into color as well. But let's drag and drop order date into detail section. Okay. Now go back to sheet 3. It is properly aligned across year-wise sales. Now you can also see the data. You can compare the data here. So what is this data? 103838 Central 2017, correct? This is Central 2017 data. We don't have year. We don't have a proper header, right? Year column placed in the column. So I just placed year in the detail section. So which, whenever you're going to drop any of the dimension in detail, it will aggregate across that level as well. Yes, we have region, but if you have extra one more, like extra in the sense, whenever you have any column in the detail section, that is also going to aggregate across that level. This is a very simple concept, but I'm just explaining in detail because, like you can see, what is this 103838, you have 2017 in columns, you have proper naming convention so that you'll understand, okay, this is 2017 data for center. But in sheet 4, you can see here, it's not properly aligned. You can see you don't have a proper aligned values. This is 2017, even in the tooltip, right? In the tooltip year, this is year of order date. You can highlight, you can increase the font, and you can increase or you can showcase some other color. So basically the point is the detail section is nothing but it will consider that particular level as well. So I'll give you a very good example, right? So this is not the best example to consider, but at least I want to explain this as well, because whenever you're going to drag and drop, let's say when you drop state into detail section, so this will give you the state wise individual data. So you don't have a proper alignment, right? So, but when you mouse over, it tells what actually the state wise sales information, right? So I'll give you a better example to understand what actually the details section. In one of the requirement, right? Let's say in scatter plotter chart, we have a scatter plot chart. I'll tell you, like just try to understand this. So we have some sales and profit information. Okay. So in one of the requirement, let's say if I'm going to use, let's say I'm going to use I'm going to drag and drop state into color. Okay. So now the importance of this visualization is when you mouse over, right? Let's increase the size. Now you can see I'm able to increase the size of the bubble, correct? So everywhere, mostly we are going to use color and size. So now when you mouse over, you can see California profit and sales, right? And this is New York and this is Washington. So these states information, right? We have these state-wise information, sales and profit. You understand, right? But my intention is I used state into color, but my intention is I want to apply a region-wise color. Understand, right? I want to apply those states color based on region. So now I already use state into color. Whenever you are going to try drag and drop region into color, what is happening here is it is overridden the existing field. So we are getting region wise sales, but we don't have state field in our report, correct? You understand right now? So basically when you drop region into color, it got overridden. We don't have state information. So when you drop state into color, it will overrides the region. So you don't have region right now. So what I mean to say is, so this is a very good example. So if you want to apply color on a, maybe you can write a calculation field to apply the color, but I want to showcase state-wise sales, but I want to see color condition or color based on region. In that case, what we can do is you can drag and drop state into detail section, right? The same data you can drag and drop, or you can choose color, or you can choose from this drop down, you can use detail section. It's the same, no differentiation. Now let's drag and drop region into color to differentiate region wise states. You understand, right? So this is what region wise states. So basically you can apply color, and if you want to showcase the data across different level, you can make use of simple option called as detail section. Clear all? Or still any questions, let me know. Even you can, I used sales into size based on a value. You can see the circle, bigger is the circle. Okay, it depends on the requirement, but basically we are using color condition on top of region. So this is what east, south, west regions. Okay, so the detail section is like it will consider across that level. If you want to consider, or if you want to get the data across a specific level, we can make use of detail section. Tooltip is, yes, tooltip helps a lot in some cases, and I'm going to showcase one more example as well. But sometimes, you know, sometimes if you want to highlight some part of data, let's say I want to highlight some state information. So click on tooltip. If you don't want to showcase tooltip, you can unselect tooltip, okay? But if you want to highlight state information, let's say this is the state I want to display. So now when you mouse over, it clearly highlights the state name, correct? So this is what state name. Clear? So tooltip is also like, we have one more exceptional functionality. I'm going to showcase that example. Okay. So we have gone through like color, size, label, detail section, tooltip, and you have a blank space, right? You have a blank here. But whenever you are going to create example, like when you create a pie chart, I'll explain all these visualizations again. But when you create a pie chart, you'll get angle, right? So based on a value, you can see the slice angle, the slice, right? You can see the three slices. Let's say if you are going to drag and drop profit into angle, you can see. So this red in color, what is red? Technology. Yes, technology profit is half. Yeah, you can see technology is more than furniture and office supplies. Regarding the angle, you can see the profit. Sales, we are displaying sales, but in the angle we use profit. So for angle, the slice size is more than office supplies and furniture. You understand, right? So for pie chart, it's actually simple. For pie chart, we used to get angle, okay? And for line chart, you'll get path, okay? So I'll tell you what is path actually. Like, let's say if you have any other dimension, let's say you have, you'll get a path, something like a connectivity. It's something like similar to line graph, but you'll get a path connection, okay? So you'll get a path. This is what I mean to say. Like there's an option like when you select a pie chart, you'll get angle. When you select path, like sorry line, you'll get a path. And when you select shape, you can also use shapes, okay? You can use even flags or person images or client logos. Everything is possible here. I'll come back to this, okay? Regarding the shapes, no need to worry about the shapes. I'll come back to this. So any questions? So these are all the options, the basic thing. And interestingly, we do have pages. So before going for pages, Tableau have come up with animations. In I think in 2018, they given an option called as animation. So how animations works? Let me showcase that. Or let's create a paragraph. Now we have all the 4 years of data in quarter level. Now I'm going to choose, you understand, right? I'm going to choose, it's simple example, but let's try to understand this. Let me do some sorting, okay? So now what I have an option called as pages, okay? Pages. So let's remove from filter, no need to go for filter, but you can drag and drop order date into pages. You can see you have a play button, right? But before this pages, so as I said, they introduced a concept called as animations. So let me showcase this first animation, because when you use animation, pages doesn't work properly. I'll come back to that. You have animation, right? Click on animation, click on, and you can make use of very slow, okay, animations. Go to format. I'll tell you this. It's not mandatory, but animations in format, animations, you can go for very slow option. And let's say if you want to apply color based on year, you can also apply color based on year. It's very slow. You can see even when I applied color, you can see it's very slow to react, correct? So go back to presentation mode. Now I can see that is what animated. So when you unselect some part of data, you understand, right? So when you select 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. Clear? So it's a kind of an animated way where we are going to get the data. It's more interesting. It's actually interesting data. The concept, sorry, animations where slowly it will react. So it's, but mostly it's not recommended for all the charts, all the visualizations. It depends if the users are okay to go for animations. You can simply select animations. But there is one more concept called as pages. You can see pages. This is one of the interesting point. I have like state-wise. Let's say I have. I'll showcase a couple of examples. Okay, I have subcategory-wise sales. Let's remove animations. Okay. So now, whenever you're going to drag and drop subcategory the same into pages, it's kind of a filter. Okay, it's kind of a filter. You can see you have a play button. You understand, right? You have a play button. So whenever you are going to click on play button, so you have these three options. One is slow, normal, and speed. This is the fast. So whenever you are going to click on this phones, you understand, right? So it's something like a play button, something we can go for a play button. So if it is, if you want to go for very fast, click on play button. Yes, it's very fast. Okay. So this is what the interesting part of pages. It's something like we have a play button. It's something we have. It's similar to filter, but yes, you can also use in the marks card show history. So whenever you're going to click on play button, it's actually showcase some shadow kind of an information. Okay, some shadow like, but actually we are showing fastness, but it's showing some shadow here. Okay, you can use play button. You can showcase the highlight values. Any questions? Still any questions? Please let me know. Godson,
I'm
Jimson.
lost, but go ahead.
No, no problem. You can, yeah, you can,
You know, I met you guys midway, so I don't even know what you're talking about.
see there is an option called as pages, right? So this one, pages. Okay,
Yeah.
not very important, but what is the
hmm
advantage of pages is you don't worry like about pages. Rarely, like actually we don't use pages in real time. Mostly 99% of the cases we don't use. Rarely we'll use this because let me showcase an example. Let's say I have state-wise map. Let me create a map field. So I have United States-wise sales information. Let me drag and drop sales into label, or even you can into text, sorry, size.
So,
But sorry,
I have a question.
yes,
When you drag items from tables, hmm,
okay,
how do you know which items to drag?
yes. So you like, you know, right, basically in e-commerce website, correct? Let's say if you want to do an online shopping, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm the customer and I log into that particular website or a portal or application, and
Mm-hmm.
my requirement is I want to choose a particular mobile. I want to purchase a mobile. I can choose from categories. So which mobile? whether you want to purchase iPhone or Sony or LG or whatever the brands we have. You can choose from the list, right? Similarly, we have a requirement, right? We are not going to create on the fly. Whatever I'm doing, it's not something like that. We have a proper requirement document, and they will tell you that, hey, can you please create this report? In this report, we have to use something like this dimension. This is the measure. This is the filter condition. And this is what, like, you'll get complete details about the project or whatever the requirement.
Okay.
So based on that, if they say that, hey, can you create state-wise sales in a map? Yes, you can see, right? This is state-wise sales. And if you want to display sales information, let's drag and drop sales into label to showcase sales. Okay. So that's
Okay.
what basically you have a proper requirement document. You don't worry
Mm-hmm.
about those things actually. So they will tell you
Okay.
what we need to create.
Okay. Okay.
Based on that, you have to drag and drop. So they don't tell you have to drop state into color. You have to
Mm-hmm.
drop state into labels. They don't
Mm-hmm.
inform anything.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now,
Thank you.
interestingly, yeah, no problem. Interestingly, I do have state-wise sales information, right? And now I'm going to drag and drop state into pages. So you can see what is the first value. You can see Alabama, right? In the page, whatever the field we dropped, right, state, now you can use a play button. You can click on this play button. You can see every state wise, you can see the sales. It's playing. You don't want to select manually. You understand, right? So similarly, you have very fast options. You can also go for fast. Okay. And this is slow, this is medium, this is fast. And even you can also show history. And you can select all to showcase the history. Okay. When you click on play button, you'll understand this importance. So it will showcase the history, whatever the previous marks got, like those bubbles, at least it will showcase those bubbles. Clear? But this is kind of a play button. As I said, we don't use mostly in real time, but they have given this option called as pages. Okay. Any questions?
So what you just described now is sheets.
Sorry?
What you just described now is sheets, right?
No, it's all sheets. It's
Mm-hmm.
the basic thing to create a minimum, to create a report, right? We need to understand what actually rows, what
Mm-hmm.
actually columns.
Mm-hmm.
That's the next concept filters I'm going to discuss. That is what the main concept, what actually marks card, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what are
Okay.
our tables, and we used a few of the concepts.
Okay.
Now, basically you need to sometimes, right, you have to prepare the data. Okay, I'll come back to each and every step. I know the first concept is filters, but let's say if you have some part of data or example, like what I can do is, let's take an example like year. When you drag and drop order date into rows, we are able to see year of order date, correct? But my intention is I want to have a separate field for year column, not order date, year of order date. In terms of that situation, what is the data type here? The data type is very, very important. Whenever you're loading the data into Tableau, Tableau identifies the data type. That's what we created this visualization. I double clicked on state, right? When you double click, automatically it will create a visualization. Okay. So that is what state geographical data. So default, I'm having some issue to edit proper location, but that's not an issue. So basically what I mean to say is, if I want to create year field, or if I want to showcase month name, right? Month field, right? How we need to create. There are functions. Anyhow, I'm going to explain in detail, but this is the basic thing I want to tell you. Like if you want to create some calculations, so to create year, we have a field called as year function, year of order date. We have some other functions. I'm just showing an example. This is year. Interestingly, why I'm showing this example is when you create year field, year is a dimension or a measure. Okay, what is year? Year is a dimension, right? We have 2017, 18, 19, 20. But when you create year field, or like when you create year of dimension, that will comes under measures. Year is a dimension, but why it is coming under measures? Because of the integer data type. This 2017, 2018, 2019 is an integer data type. So now what we can do is, we don't want to worry about this. Year is a dimension, but why it got created as a measure, right? It's simply you can drag and drop into dimensions. Okay, that's it. Clear? So initially it comes under measures. It's in green color. But what we can do is simply drag and drop into dimensions. Because when you use year as a measure, you can ask why don't we use year as a measure? When you double click, you're able to see some unwanted data. So it's completely different sales. Sum of year. We don't use sum of year, right? So that's what the point, like when you create any field, remember like few of the columns, ID columns, mostly the numerical data type, ID columns, right, comes under measure. Even you can create analysis, create a calculation field, month number. So if we use month function, we'll get month number. Month number. Now you can see even month number is also comes under dimensions. Sorry, month number, sorry, under measures. So month number is a dimension, right? You need to drag and drop month number into tables or like into dimensions and double click. You're able to see every month wise, year wise sales. Clear all? So what I mean to say is sometimes we have to prepare the data. Sometimes we have to create some calculations. We have to create some of the parameters or some functions. We need to use some functions to create few of the calculations. So that is what the point. So it's not direct. So whatever you are seeing is not direct. There are certain cases where you need to create calculations. You need to create some parameters, some other functions, right? So I'll tell you each and every step by step. Okay. So let's put aside all this. If you didn't understand, that's not an issue. Anyhow, I'm going to showcase practical examples. So the concept is like we do have filters. I'll start filters. Okay, this is the first concept, and whatever the like let's say if there are few topics, I'll introduce in the middle. Like it depends on the scenarios, situation, right? So I'm going to showcase those examples. Okay. So now you understand the screen, right? This is what connection. When you connect from here, you can drag and drop those tables, and you do have live connection and extract connection. And we can also do the data modeling. That's what we have seen. Go back to sheet. Yes, we have sheet, dashboard, and story. Primarily, we work on like dashboards and sheets. We don't work on stories. Okay. So, in general, the very important concept and the first concept is called as filters. What actually filter? I'll just give you a simple introduction to filters. What actually are filters? So filter is nothing but, right? Filter, water filter. What is water filter? It will filter unwanted uh, crystal particles or whatever the dust particles, right? And will get pure water, right? There are a lot of process actually, but basically filtering is like to restrict unwanted data. In SQL, right? In SQL, we can apply filter using where clause. Okay. In general, in database side, in SQL queries, right, you have to apply the filter by using where clause. So in general, we are going to use where clause to apply the condition. Okay. So we do have we do have different types of filters. I'll go through each and every step by step, right? So importantly, we do have different types of filters like data source filter, quick filter, filters on dimensions, filters on measures, filters on date. Importantly, we do have global filter, cascading filter, and context filter. So these are the different types of filters. Anyhow, as I said, right, so I'll explain one more time, like whatever the topic we are going to discuss today, we'll explain one more time tomorrow as well. Let's start with quick filter first, okay, so that you'll understand, right? So let me save as filter types of filters. So from here, if you have any questions, okay, if you have any questions, please ask me. Okay, if you didn't understand, please let me know. So let's consider like a report called as subcategory by sales. Okay, now whenever you're going to publish this into server, the view is like this one, the presentation mode. Okay, this is what the presentation mode. Let's say you created any visualization, bar graph, entire view. So this is the final result. Okay, or even if you use customer, like let's say if you want to go for customers, not subcategory, and go for standard, and these are all the customers. This is what customer by sales. Okay, this is what individual customer by sales report. But I want to apply the filter. I want to apply the filter based on certain criteria, right? You understand, right? So let's say I want to see particular region wise customer, or I want to go for like particular year wise customer, or separate like category wise, right? So in that case, you can just right click on region. You have this option, right? Show filter. Basically, that's a quick filter. Show filter is nothing but quick filter. Quick filter, quick filter is used for user interactivity. In general, show filter is nothing but a quick filter. So from 9.2 version, I do remember from 9.2 version, they given this naming convention as show filter. Initially it was quick filter. That's the reason we do use the same naming convention till now. What is quick filter? Even in interviews, they'll ask what is quick filter. So quick filter is user for user interactivity. Now let's say I do have category show filter. I have some year wise show filter. So when you go back to presentation mode, so now you can select a particular category wise customers, right? Correct? Or a particular year wise customers, particular region wise. Okay, clear all? So what I mean to say is you can select some part of data. You can select the filter. You can choose an option. You can choose, it depends on the requirement. If you want to apply the filter, that's what I mean to say, right? If you want to purchase a mobile, you have an option to select brand. In the e-commerce website, you have certain range. Let's say if you want to purchase a mobile between 20K to 30K, you can set a range, right? That is what quick filter. Clear? So quick filter is user for user interactivity. Because if you don't use this filter, if you can hide cart, okay? You may use some part of data in the filter. You may have filters, but if you don't have this quick filter, right, it's very tough to select or unselect. Clear? So basically, one of the advantage of like one drawback and one advantage I'll tell you here. So let's say I have even customer name as a filter, right? Whenever you're going for presentation mode, we have here customer name. Let's place here. When you go back to presentation mode, what is happening here is I am wasting a lot of space for filters, correct? Here you can see I'm wasting a lot of space for filters. And you can have check boxes. You can select some customers and unselect some part of data, right? You can select and unselect. You can have multi selections. Everything is multi selection, correct? And we are wasting a lot of space only for filters. So instead of doing that, what we can do is you have multiple options. Single value list. If you want to select single selection, let's say for a particular year, if you want to go for single value list, you can select only single year at a time. You understand, right? This is a radio button. We don't give access to select multiple values. We'll provide only single selection at a time. But what's the issue here? Do we have all option? When you select all, anyhow we are going to get all the customers, right? You understand? Or let me use, instead of customer, right, let me use subcategory. You'll get to know very clearly. And let me use region into columns. Now let's see here, and let me apply region into color. Now let's see here. I have 4 regions, correct? My intention is, yes, we have 4 regions. My intention is I have to give access to select only one region at a time. So, but I can select multiple regions, correct? So click on this drop down. If you go for single value list, okay. If you go for single value list, now you can see I'm not getting all the regions, but when you select all, you're able to find all the regions, correct? So what I mean to say is we have to provide to the user, we have to provide the customer to go for only single selection at a time, single region. I don't want to showcase multiple regions. But the problem I'm facing is I have an all option, all button. I can select central, this is one region. I can select east, south, west. But if I select all, anyhow, again, I'm able to see all the regions, right? So I don't want to showcase all the regions at a time. So we have a flexibility. Click on this drop down options, customize. When you go to customize options, you can see show all value. Got it right? You can unselect show all value. Then when you select central, now you can say I'm getting only central, east, south, west. So now I don't have any all option. You understand, right? This is what one good option, but even I don't want to waste this much space. We have single selection, single value list, but we have an option called as single value drop down. These are all the options. So as I said, I'm going to repeat from scratch one more time tomorrow. No need to worry about that. But you can see this is the drop down. You can select central, you can select east, you can select south, and you can select west. Clear? So now in this customer name, I have a lot of space. I'm wasting a lot of space. You can use multiple values drop down. Even you can also go for multi selection. Okay. Even you can also prefer multi selection. Yes. We can go for drop down. So instead of wasting space, click on this drop down. You can see multiple values drop down. You understand, right? So this is multiple values drop down customer name. And now I will organize all this in one single something like this. Even if you want to go for multiple values list, but if you want to go for multiple values drop down, that will be better. And for year, you can also go for slider. You can see there is a single value drop down where you can choose a particular year at a time, but you have a flexibility to choose a slider, right? So let's say, what is the year we have? 2017. We can guess what is the next year, right? 2018, 2019, and 2020. Yeah. Is that clear? So as I said, I will explain one more time tomorrow, but let me know if you have any questions. This is a basic, these are the basic initially we have gone through, but from filters, this is what the actual concepts we need to practice. We need to start practice. I'll give you some questions from tomorrow. I'll provide you some of the questions and the assignment. So you have to work on the same. So tomorrow we'll go through again the quick filter, what actually quick filter is. Quick filter is user for user interactivity. Okay, user can interact with the filters. So these are the options. I'll tell you each and every option. We have single value list, single value drop down, single value slider, and multiple values list, drop down, and custom value list. So I'll tell you each and every option. Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, Ramash.
Yes.
Yeah, and the customer name. In any case, they ask you to filter some particular customer names. How will you do that?
Customer name in the filter.
Yeah,
Yes.
because you have a lot of customer names there. Then,
Yeah.
in the case they ask you to identify some particular customers, how do you do that?
Yeah. Let's say I have customer name in the report to identify. Okay. I have, let's remove subcategory. So I have customer by sales. Now I want to showcase only the customer name whose name starts with John. Okay. Let's say I want to select only the customers whose name with John. You can type in John. You can see, right? Now you can select those customers. Even we have one more flexibility, but you can select those customers whose name, at least you have those naming convention with John. Or let's say if you want to select only the Adam related information, the customer names with Adam, you can search. Okay, that's the advantage of search option. Yes, we have an option. We have the filter called as filters on dimension. That's the next concept, which we can go for wildcard match. Okay, wildcard filter. So I'll explain that. So yes, you can, if you want to choose unselect all, and whatever the customer you want to choose, let's say, so I do have Alan, you can see. And in Alan, if you want to select these three customer names starts with Alan, you can select those customer names. Let me check with Watson. So we don't have any match with Watson, but I'm aware of that. There are customer names whose name ends with son, right? So you can see there are a lot of customer names whose ends with son, like Thompson, Johnson, Ferguson, right? So now you can choose those customers to display. That's what my point here. So there is one more flexibility. So this is it's tough, right? It's getting tough to select if you have a lot of customer names, right? If you want to select, it will be a bit tough. There is a simple functionality. I will showcase that to choose some set of customers. But yes, you have a drop down. You can search and you can unselect or you can select. That works.
Got a
Okay.
question, Ramesh. There's this drop down on the top where you choose standard and
Yeah, standard
what does,
entire.
so what does that mean? What's the functionality for that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So basically the functionality of this is, let's say I have region wise sales. Okay. So when you create any visualization, okay, so you can see this visualization, it shows region wise sales. But sometimes I want to fill in the dashboard, I want to fit that with whatever the space I'm going to use in the dashboard, right? Let's say I'm going to place that in the dashboard, this sheet 2. Okay, sheet 2. So now this is the space. This is what the space I'm occupying, right? I'm using for sheet 2. Okay. So if I'm going to use another sheet 1 here, I'm using sheet 1. Why should I waste this much space? Correct? The white space. You can use fit. You can use fit to entire view. Okay. So that you can have that complete space filled with the visualization. You can occupy complete space. If it is standard, if it is standard, so you can see you have some other space, some wastings, like you are wasting some space, right? Even you can decrease or increase the width or height or something like that. Okay, that's also correct. But when you increase the space, when you bring down, the space is wasting here. In that's the reason why I'm going to use fit to entire view, so that you can allocate complete space. Even when you resize, it will showcase complete, it will resize based on your whatever the size we have. So
Okay.
that's what the entire view.
How did you get to that dashboard?
I'll tell you, like this option here, we have this sheet, new worksheet, this new dashboard. And when you click on new dashboard, whatever the sheets available, right? Whatever the sheets available in the dashboard, like in the workbook, sheet 1 and sheet 2, you're able to see here in the sheets. This
In
is
the
what
dashboard.
this is what the input for the dashboard. And you can drag and drop simply. You can simply drag and drop those sheets into dashboard.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll
Awesome.
tell you
Thank
each
you.
and every point. Yeah, no problem. So from tomorrow I will start with from scratch. So I'll create a new worksheet like workbooks. I am not going to save this, or let's save, but I'm not going to share it now. But at least tomorrow I'm going to repeat once again. That's what my point. Okay.